Everybody, how are you doing? It has been a hot minute since I have been live in certain places. So this is the first time watching. Let me know in the chat so I can officially say hello and welcome. And if you have been listening to my nonsense online for many sessions, then let me know that too in the chat. We are going to be diving in a moment. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to join us live. Hello. And as you are coming on, please say hello so I can say hi to you. Let's see, we've got some people joining us here. All right, I'm going to make this really quick and hopefully you can join me in the energy of celebration. So I have a pretty epic announcement to make and it may impact you, which is why I'm sharing it in this way versus just sending it out as an email. So I have been in business now for 25 years, cumulatively, and almost 20 years full-time. So I have made a point of networking with people outside of the online fishbowl. I really love learning from all kinds of businesses. So I've made it a little bit of a passion project to build companies and sell them, and of course coach tons of people on businesses. And it was not part of my plan to buy business this year, but I went ahead and did that because that's just how I do things apparently. And I like to, I kind of view building business as an art. I don't know if you can relate to that. If you can, let me know in the comments so that I know whether I'm alone in this or not. But it's a lot of fun for me to build things. I have a lot of artists in my family and I think, oh, how come I can't paint and how come I can't draw and so on. But really, I love building businesses. It's an art. I love creating service-based businesses that help people. I love creating jobs. I love all of it. And so without further ado, I'm super excited to announce that I purchased a premier expert podcast booking agency called the Podcast Connector. Now, the Podcast Connector is a relatively new business, but it has already served a ton of people. And my guides nudged me to get this. I was not planning at all, as I mentioned, to buy a business this year. And it was a relentless nudge. It was one of those nudges. And I think you know the nudge I'm talking about, the kind that just doesn't leave you alone, even when you try to silence it. So I thought, well, why would I be guided to buy a business like this? Like I've got a lot going on. And so why would I buy this company? And I realized back in 2020 when we were all arguing on the internet about how to spend our 2 weeks to flatten the curve. If you remember those times where people were arguing about, no, this is the time to rest. And other people were like, no, this is the time to learn how to play guitar and get your body in shape. And those were the biggest battles we had in those first 2 weeks, if you recall. And then, of course, the world did some funny somersaults and cartwheels and so on. And I don't have to tell you what it's been like over the last 2 years. You will have been experiencing that in your own ways. And of course, observing just the fascination of human behavior on the world stage, right? As we go through this. But I remember thinking, oh, we're in this now. We need way more voices on the world stage. We need way more very service-aligned people, mission-driven people to be elevating the conversation, to be offering more inspiration, to be offering tips and tricks about how to clear trauma and vicarious trauma and how to elevate your frequency and all the various things that many of us have been talking about for 2 years. And then I don't really know what happened. I imagine I got distracted by a thing or two on the world stage. And so when this opportunity presented, I had that moment, right, of, now I remember. This was always part of the plan that I would create this platform. Then I thought, well, why am I qualified to do this? Because I'm not like a big podcasting guru. But I realized, I have had a few radio shows over the years. I have been on a gazillion summits. I have pitched a gazillion things. I have been pitched by a gazillion people. I have been on major media. I've been an expert columnist. I've done all this media stuff, right? I have a really good sense, actually, of how to pitch things to podcast hosts, to media, to whatever, how to acquire those media assets really quickly and the value of that, right? Like I can speak for myself that I have only landed more major media when I have done podcasting, I have attracted a ton of amazing clients as a result of podcasting. Like literally, listen to my episode, poof, they're in my inbox. How can I work with you? You may have had the same experience. It has allowed me to build more credibility, to really be positioned as an authority in my industry, all of the things, right? I'm probably telling you stuff you already know. But anyways, I'm sharing this with you. I'm so excited, and I would love for you to join me in the energy of celebration. If you would love to share the love about the podcast connector and become a cherished affiliate, let me know in the chat. I'll plop a link in there for you to do that. And if you would love to become one of our red carpet clients, where we literally meet with you to figure out how the best way to pitch you and your genius and guarantee bookings. That's one thing that we do differently. I have been a client, by the way, of many podcast booking agencies. That's in part why I bought this. I know what works and I know what doesn't. And I was actually a client of the Podcast Connector. So it was super easy for me to buy this because I already knew the internal culture. But anyways, I really believe in guaranteeing bookings. If I hire a PR team, I'm not just going to pay you money to tell me that you're going to do certain things. I want certain guarantees, because you shouldn't be taking me on as a client if you don't feel that my message and my positioning and my bio essentially are major media worthy. And so I apply those same principles to the podcast booking agency. If we're in the business of pitching you and we're claiming we're experts in pitching you, then we should know how to do that. And we should be confident in our ability to guarantee a certain amount of bookings every month for you. And that's where things start to compound. So if you're interested in exploring becoming a client, I'm also going to plop the links in the chat for you to explore. But I wanted to join you live for the celebration. Hopefully you can feel the excitement that we have. We are also hiring. We are growing really rapidly. That's kind of how I grow companies. So if you have expertise in booking people and pitching people on podcasts, we would love to hear from you. You can let me know that in the chat as well. But for now, I'm sending you so much good juju. I'm so grateful that we're connected. I would love to explore how we can support you in getting your thought leadership out there in an even bigger way. Sending you lots of love, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. Bye for now.